First, thank you guys for being here today. Appreciate it. I honestly want to thank the fans. Like, came out all year. They were here today. This wasn't how I want senior day to go. Obviously, didn't play well, and I thought missing shots, it affected our energy. Cliff fouled out quickly too in the game. Just wasn't how we wanted to end it. But I do want to thank a lot of people, because people stayed and they were awesome, and it's what makes this place special. I have three seniors up here and a bunch down in the locker room right now, and probably the last of the Oscar's been here 5 years. Like, there will no longer be a 5-year guy probably anywhere in the country. Cliff 4 years, Andre 3 years, and I'm thankful for his time, and Mawat 4 years. These guys have been great. They've been great representatives. They're awesome students. They're getting their master's degree. They've done some fantastic things, and I'm thankful to Noah and Austin too for being here. Aiden's been a 4-year guy and awesome, and Zach Hain this year jumps on board. So, I am really proud of them today. Not a great moment. I'm as disappointed. It's on me. I didn't have them ready. I had those 5 seniors in the starting lineup. I thought we'd get off to a better start, and we didn't. We're down 10-1, but we fought back, and in the first half got back in the game. And then I thought, when we weren't making free throws or layups in the second half, it affected us, obviously. Ohio State's very good. They're playing really well. So congratulate them too. The other team always, plays a role in how you play. But, I am proud of these guys. These guys have been great, and it's been a challenging year in a lot of ways with injuries and with the different stuff that we've had to face. But I told them, the great part of this is you got the non-conference, then you got the conference season, and you got a whole nother season starting in a few days. And if you get yourself in the right frame of mind, and if you go and go for it, good things can happen too. So we got another season starting, and everyone's 0-0 when that happens.
Steve, how much of the offensive struggles were confidence? How much of it was mental? How much of it was physical, you think?
Even in the first half when we were missing looks, like, I just thought we could kind of hang in there, but our energy changed in the second half. Again, it's been perplexing to me, the whole year, where we shoot 12th in the country on the road in free throw percentages, and then at home we don't make free throws. And that hurt us down a stretch. I think we missed 8 in a row or something at one point, and from the free throw line. So, when you're not scoring, and then you got to get to the free throw line. That's the number one thing you want to do as a coach. And then when you get to the free throw line, it kind of takes the air out of the balloon when you don't make a free throw. So, we had some stretches there where could have made it a little more interesting. And then, to their credit, they were making their free throws and they were banging home threes. And, I think it all kind of came together. But, for them, obviously. But, it does. It affects these guys probably more so than any team that I've had. But, that's no excuse. We got to figure it out, and we haven't.
Steve, you mentioned something there, right frame of mind. How concerned are you about their state of mind right now going into the tournament?
No matter what time of the year it is, I'm always concerned about their minds. Yeah, always. So this is no different. All year long, I'm concerned about their minds. Yeah, so, no different than any other day. I'm concerned when we win. I'm concerned when we lose. These guys got more distractions now than I ever had when I was growing up, and they got more opinions and more of everything. So, I always think where their minds are is always important, and I think this has been a good group when we get their minds in the right places. But it's not easy. You got 15, 17 guys. So, but that's always a constant challenge for a coach.
You went on a 7-minute scoring drought in the first half, field goal drought, a 9-minute field goal drought in the second half. What did you see from Ohio State that caused that, or from your team?
Yeah, obviously they're a real physical basketball team. They make it hard. They get you out of your sets and stuff. But, I did think, we got looks. We got layups. We didn't finish at the rim. We got a lot of shots blocked. I think they blocked 5 or 6, 3 in the first couple minutes, and then, when we're not scoring, you got to get to the free throw line. Again, we didn't capitalize, from the free throw line either. So, you had those stretches, in the first half, and then we had another one. But we fought through it in the first half. We got through it, and the game was, reasonable at halftime. We were right where we wanted to be. Just couldn't stay the course in the second half.
Coach, you're talking about mindset just a moment ago as you're getting ready for the next season you just mentioned with the tournament coming up. How do you feel, going on the road, getting away from home, if you will, and again, I feel being on the road, how does that help you guys and
Yeah.
kind of change that mentality?
You know what? I mean, you always, it is a new season for everybody, and it doesn't matter where you got to play well. I know Ohio State went last year and played great in the Big Ten tournament, too. And Penn State went in the Big Ten tournament and played great, too, down the stretch. So you have another opportunity ahead of you, and that's the great part of these tournaments. And, you can go on a run. We've done it before. We did it at Madison Square Garden a few years back. So you have new opportunity, and, we'll get, right back to practice. We don't have a lot of time to prepare, but we'll be familiar with whoever we play. And if these guys have the right mindset, we got to keep Cliff out of foul trouble. That's not where we want to be. But, you got an opportunity, and I've been on those teams that didn't have a great year but then had a great weekend, and that's what we're trying to do.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit in the opening statement, but, as you mentioned, several players have been a key part of this program for years. Just could you talk a little bit about the emotions that you felt as a coach, seeing them walk out and take those photos out at midcourt?
When they come out with their families and, like Andre, I remember the Miller School where we sat on a park bench and, we talked about, what could happen and, what we're trying to do and just always loved him, his transcript and how he was, and he was appreciative and he was humble and all those things. And now I see him, he's getting his master's degree. He's got one of the highest grade point averages in our basketball team history. He's just been a guy that had opportunities to leave last year, and he stayed. He stayed with us, and I just so appreciate him for doing that. And Cliff, the recruiting journey started when he was a freshman. Like we were, and the journey that he's on, he's going to be a top 20 scorer in school history, and blocks and rebounds, and a top 5, 10, whatever it is, and and graduated Dean's List just about every semester. Like, it's sad. It's sad when they have to go. Like I said, it's becoming like dinosaurs too. Like they're not going to be 4-year guys. That's just not where this thing's headed. So the fact that they stayed and they continue to do what they do for our university, and I know today didn't go well, but these guys represent us in every way, and I couldn't be more thankful for Oscar. Came 4.5, 5 years ago, and has been maybe the all-time 32 years of coaching, maybe the best teammate and best guy that a coach could depend on. Didn't play in a game, didn't play in the next game. I put him in. You could always count on us. Come to practice every day with the right mindset, and he's going to play basketball for a long time because he's a winner, and he's another Dean's List student, like a kid that, academically and basketball-wise, and he had back spasms, and, he plays through injuries and all those things. And, Noah gave us, too, a great year, and Aiden's been 4 years of awesome, and I will tell you, Austin Williams comes in, he gets his knee drained every Monday, and played through injuries, and we got him late, in the portal, but he's a New Jersey guy. He's going to be a Scarlet Knight now for life, and he and Noah, I'm just, proud of those guys. I only wish I would be a better coach for those guys if I knew them longer, had them longer. It's really hard when you get a guy for 9 months and try to figure him out, and especially Austin, who was hurt and didn't practice early on. That's the only thing I feel sad. I wish I had him for a little bit longer, and and Zach Haynes been awesome too. So I think I mentioned everyone, but appreciate you asking about this because it is their program.
Steve, you mentioned the changes that are going over in college basketball. What have you learned this year as a coach about dealing with this constant roster turnover that you think will help make you a better coach?
Yeah, no, I think you have to learn a lot of lessons, from it. We got to change the timeline, of kids making decisions, myself, you can't have guys in June, July, August, deciding that, because it's hard to replace, people. And, I think you really got to do a really good job of managing that and finding out who's going to be on board and who's not. And the great part is we have awesome class coming in, and we need to because we're losing an awesome class. be ready to replace them. But you got to be ready for anything nowadays. You really do.
But how much of that can you control as a head coach?
Yeah, I mean, you can't control the referees. You can't control a lot of things. You know, you can't control the portal. You can't control NIL. You can't control, you know. So what you do is you try to stay to your course. I want to get great kids in the program. I want to get kids that want to work and kids that want to be at Rutgers. But I think you could try to do a better job, like, you know, just, you know, finding out who's staying. You know, who's staying, and when those opportunities come late, are they going to stay the course, you know, with you? But yeah, you don't have a lot of control in that. You know, I you know, wish you had a little bit more. I wish the, you know, timeline was a little more restrictive, but that's not going to change anytime soon. So you just have to manage it, and I have to obviously do an excellent job at managing, you know, managing the roster.
Coach, you mentioned in the first half you guys fighting back. I mean, understanding you know, basketball's a game of runs. You know, them even finding ways to fight back and persevere through the offensive struggles. What does that speak about the fight in this team? What does it speak about this team overall?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you just saw that. Like, they were connected in the huddles, and they never got discouraged. And, you know, I'm proud of them. We've shown minutes of that this year. We've shown games of that, too. You know, we haven't been consistent, and that's on me as a coach. Like, consistency's been hard. Our rotation's been a little different. You know, we added Jeremiah, who, you know, outstanding late in the season, but then we lose Moab Mag, so we've kind of had to go through that, and that's what people have to do, you know, during the course of the season. So, you know, but our fight, as always, you know, I hope always has been there. You know, there's some games that's, you know, not as excited about our fight as others, but, you know, these guys have done that for 4 years. Cliff has, Oscar's 5 years, and Andre's whole time here. So, you know, they know. And the one thing, I have a lot of faith in these guys. They'll be ready to play when we head out to that tournament. I have a ton of faith, because they've done it before, and those are the kind of characters that, you know, that they have. That's the kind of character they have.
Steve, there have been points throughout this season where you guys have gone on field goal droughts and even scoring droughts.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something schematic? Is it guys' inability to make shots? I mean, what is it? Why does that continue to happen?
Well, I mean, you know, yeah, obviously, and we're not the only ones that, you know, have gone on that. Every team goes on those kind of things. You know, free throws is puzzling to me, because, you know, that could have helped us a ton this year, and I think these guys are a good free throw shooting team, and I know that from every stat that we take of every free throw they take during practice for the whole year. You know, but, you know, shots, you know, go in some games, and we look like the Lakers. You know, when we played Wisconsin here at home, everything went, you know what I mean? And then other games you don't, but you still got to figure out a way to win games no matter what, you know. And, you know, the consistency hasn't been there, you know, on that end, and quite honestly, hasn't been there on the defensive end either. So, they're both.
Coach, Ohio State's now 5-1 since Jake Diebler took over as the interim coach. What has changed with the energy around that program from an opposing coach's perspective, and what do you think about the job that Diebler's done so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're playing great. He's done, you know, a fantastic job. Holtman, I thought, was a fantastic coach, you know, too, and fantastic players. You know, those guys can play. Thornton's really good. I mean, Battle can shoot the ball as well as anybody. They got big guys up front. Roddy Gale, but going into our first game was shooting 48% from three-point land. Like, you know, Middleton can play coming off the bench. They got a really good roster, and he's done a really good job. And they feel good about themselves right now, and they're playing well. Excuse me. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys being here again.